Hello, this is Ed Rigsby, and today's it. Today is number 30, day 30 in the 30-day challenge for selling to associations. Now, I've thrown an awful lot at you, and I recognize that not everybody can do all of it. Today, I'm going to talk to you about regimen and process, and I think that it would be criminal of me to just kind of leave you hanging without giving you kind of uh, you know, putting a bow on the wrapping here or putting a bow on the package. But before I do that, I do want to tell you about one thing. And, I hope that this $2 a day program has served you and giving you tons of value. I hope that very, very soon you're going to be getting some bookings on your calendar and making even more money than you're making before. One of the things that I did want to talk to you about is you've heard me mention a couple times that I run a live selling to associations intensive. Well, right now during COVID, we can't really meet live, so I'm not doing them. But what I did do at the onset of COVID, I took the video and put together an online course. And there is some of the videos are me presenting just like I'm presenting to you now, and others are a video of me giving live presentations in front of groups of people. If you look below the video on your screen, there's a link. And if that's something that serves you, that you would like to have deeper information, I realize that, in a couple of minutes each day, I can only give you so much. But if that's something that you want, feel free. Love to have you go and sign up. And if you do, it's the way it works is there's, a number of videos, and you got to watch them in series before the next one opens. And then you get some free gifts at the end. And you also get a discount coupon for, when we get out of all this COVID, for when I do live events again, in case you want to attend a live event that I put on, that you'll get a discount coupon for that. So with that being said, now let's get into, this is it. And if you see, I've got a tablet. I want to make sure that, I got to scratch my nose. Sorry about that. I want to make sure that I didn't forget anything. I would encourage you to grab something to write with if you don't already have it, and take some notes, because I'm going to review some of the things that you should be doing every week. Now, you can't do all of these things every day, but you really should be doing these things every week. So what I'd like you to do for your last assignment is to, take down all the things that I'm recommending here and put together for yourself what kind of a schedule, what kind of a regimen could you create for yourself as far as helping you to every day do a little bit rather than trying to do it all per day and then become immobilized. So we talked about that you need to call national associations that are in your vertical. Okay, very good. So you have to ask yourself, how many a day am I going to call? Am I going to call 2 a day? Am I going to call 3 a day? Am I going to call 10 a day? I don't know. You need to decide, but you need to call some every day. Also, what about the state associations? Every week, you need to call some of those. Now, do you need to call those every day? Maybe, maybe not. But the thing is that you can work your way up from state associations to national, and you can work your way down from national to state. So you want to be going after both. And as I told you, a good number of the national associations have state chapters, and they have meetings, and you want to be calling them. If you don't call the state associations every day, you need to make a decision how many per week you're going to call, because there's actually a lot more state associations for you to call than there are national associations. Now, also in the afternoon, I told you about using the afternoon for LinkedIn. Don't get on LinkedIn in the morning when you're high energy. Use your mornings when you're high energy for phone calls. But in the afternoons, I gave you a way to search for association executives using the basic search mechanism. And, you know, it would behoove you to connect with as many association executives that you can, whether they're in your uh, main vertical or not, because the more that you connect with, it easier it is to connect with others. But especially look for people in your vertical. Then I talked to you just the other day about, what was it, yesterday, the day before, about um, the LinkedIn hack on how you can find these people by going into their company pages in LinkedIn and connecting with people. So you got to ask yourself, how much time a day am I going to spend on LinkedIn? And you might say, okay, I can do a half hour a day. You might say you can do an hour a day. I don't know. It's up to you. I don't want you to overdose, but I want you to make a decision and, you know, write it down for yourself. How much time per day can I spend on LinkedIn? And that's afternoon, low energy, not in the morning. Now, we also talked about the association executive councils within the national associations. So, you know, we've got to make sure that um, every time you call a national association, one of the things that you also need to do while you're on their website is you need to find out, do they have an association executive council, which is a gathering of all the state executive directors? Because if they do, you've got to make sure that you try to touch base with whoever is the decision maker for selecting speakers for that meeting. I mean, it's just something that you need to do. Now, also in I talked to you the other day about the affiliates. So when you're on the National Association website, you want to also check, are there any affiliate organizations that relate to our industry? And whether you click on them and, you know, connect with them today, or whether you know, take down the information and connect with them later, that's up to you. But what you got to make sure is when you call the National Association, and that's why you don't have to call that many per day, you know, you got to try to get to the editor, to the meeting, to the decision maker who selects speakers. You've got to find out if you can talk to the decision maker. You've got to look, do they have state associations? Because you're going to need to call them. You've got to look, do they have an association executive council? Because you got to try to get on that program. And also you got to look, do they have a list of affiliate associations that relate to them in their industry that you want to get that may or may not be on your list? So that's a lot to do on every time you make a call for a national association. So you might be saying to me, well, Ed, I can only do 1 or 2 of those a day. That's fine. 1 or 2 a day is fine. Totally fine. You know, 3 might be better, but you know, whatever you can do. Now, you also need to, at least on a monthly basis. Oh, no, let me get back. One of the things I forgot to talk to you about is within your industry. I talked to you about the Societies of Association Executives. So this is something that you're not going to have to put a lot of time into every day. But what I would encourage you to do within the first couple, if you haven't already done it, because I did talk to you about this before. If you haven't already done it, within the first couple of weeks launching after this challenge, I would hope you would find, is there a Society of Association Executives that's specific to the industry you're working in now? Now remember, let me back up and remember that I told you, pick one vertical, and work it hard, and then when you get done working that one vertical, then go to the next. So maybe you're going to be working manufacturing associations, and when you're all done, and it might take you 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 months, then you're going to go to another vertical. It might be distribution associations. Okay, you're going to work that 3, 4, 5 months, and you're going to do everything that I'm telling you to do in that vertical, and then maybe you're going to go to retail. Okay, manufacturing, distribution, retail, who knows, or you know, contractors or service providers, whatever. But it's something that you got to make sure that you do. You got to touch that base. Also, something that I would encourage you to do, and this is something that you can work on, maybe I would say have in your regimen, in your process, once a week to try to connect with the State Society of Association Executives. Now, whatever state you're in, there's a good chance that there's a State Society of Association Executives. And across the country, there are State Societies of Association Executives. You need to get your name in the hat there. You need to do the same thing. You need to call the editor, try to get your articles into, their magazine or their newsletter. You got to try to get, they all have annual programs. They pay sometimes, most times they don't, but it's okay because it's Showcase. And just a couple of days ago, I talked to you about Showcase. So, it's real important that you touch over the next 2 to 3 to 4 months. You need to make sure that you've contacted every State Society of Association Executives, and you need to determine what their process is going to be and how often you have to keep in touch. And a number of them, what they'll do is, you could ask them if they have online RFPs, if they can add your email address to the RFPs. I get RFPs all the time from the various State Societies of Association Executives. Sometimes I fill them out, sometimes I don't. Okay, now the next thing that you've got to add into your week is, I've got just tons of these meeting magazines. I get a lot. I mean, I gave you a list, plus I belong to Societies of Association Executives, so I also get theirs. And, but you need to find a time once a week, at least once a week, to, go through these. And, again, it shouldn't be it shouldn't be a morning. It should be an afternoon or evening, and just thumb through these various magazines. And if you are getting them online, again, that, their newsletters, that should be an afternoon project, not during the day, not during your high selling time. But as you read through these and you start looking, I'm what are they talking about? Plotting your digital event strategy, where to hold hybrid meetings, virtual food and beverage. This is all stuff that this is the September, October issue right here. And this is all stuff that the people that are running associations, they're thinking about, they're concerned with, and the people that are running the meetings are concerned with. So you need to make it a point. Now, I mentioned PCMA the other day, and let me go off screen here for just a second. And I really didn't get into PCMA a whole lot, but PCMA is Professional Convention Management Association, and their magazine is Convene. And they're pretty good about, I can't remember if it was in that slide I showed you or not, but their magazine has got all kinds of surveys, like here, page 1. How interested would you be in each of the following convention visitors bureaus? Okay, see what's going on. And just also, look at this here. They've got a whole big thing on a COVID study for meetings. So they have all kinds of stuff. And I think it's really, really good to get these magazines all over the place. I think it's really good to spend a small amount of time in the afternoons or evenings every week. Pick what, and if you do it every Thursday, you do it every Tuesday, you do it every Saturday, every Friday, whatever. Pick a little time and look through these publications. Also, I talked to you about building a YouTube station. We talked about that on day 28, just a couple of days ago, and I think that I really would like you to put a little bit of energy every week into working on a YouTube show, and have it through the window of your topic and how your topic helps association executives or whatever. And if you don't like that angle, have it how it helps association members. I mean, that's fine too. But it will give you the opportunity. And if you put a little bit of energy every week And and even if you only record a show every other week or every third week, or even if you only record a show once a month, that's okay. But it's the idea, it gives you one more reason to talk to these association executives and get them on your show and get to know them. The last thing that's on my big list is articles. So, you know, I talked to you about, if you have a few articles, that's good. But if you go to my article bank on my website, you'll see that there's a couple hundred articles. Now, it's taken me years upon years upon years. And I got to tell you, articles that I wrote in the 90s are still being published today. So it's not work that you do once and you throw away. It's evergreen work. And if you write articles that are, quote, evergreen, and don't put dates in them, to where, think of writing good, valuable truths from your base of expertise that will help people, but do it in such a way that it's not dated. And you can get these articles, they can be on your website for years, and you can continue to connect with association executives for years and years and years, and editors and so forth with these articles. But I would hope that maybe once a month, if you've only got, let's just say, 3, 6, 8 articles on your website, I would hope once a month from now till, the cows come home, that maybe you could write one article and around 700 words, give or take. Could be a little bit less, could be a little bit more. And I talked to you about, the format and how to do it. In my Selling to Associations Intensive, there's a whole module on that where we go very, very deep. But it's just, I think that you really want to keep adding that, and it makes you seen as a richer resource. So there you go. That's it. That's the 30 days of Selling to Associations, your challenge. I've given you a lot today as far as reviewing the things that I want you to make sure that you do daily and do weekly and do monthly. It's up to you to create your regimentation, your process, your schedule, your Excel spreadsheet, your whatever. Trello is an app that you can get that's a project management software that'll help you. Everybody's got their own way of how they want to do things. So I'm not going to tell you how to do that. But I think that it's really, really important that you just keep doing a little bit every day, because it keeps you out of inertia. Once you stop, then you get into inertia, and then you get lazy, and then you say tomorrow, 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 and tomorrow never comes. So the biggest thing from the challenge, if you can force yourself to do a little something every day. I realize, when you start flying again, it's going to be a little bit harder, and maybe every day you can't do this. But, I'll tell you what, while you're home, you sure the heck can. And as I said at the beginning of today's video, hey, if you want to go deeper, if you need a little bit more help, sure. Sign up for my Selling to Associations online workshop. A lot of good stuff, a lot more help. But I hope that this has worked for you. And do me one favor. If you found that this workshop has this, I should call it a challenge, a 30-day workshop, 30-day challenge, whatever it is. If this has helped you, would you send an email to me, Ed Rigsby, EDRIGSBEE, Ed Rigsby @gmail.com. If you would send me an email and tell me how this challenge has helped you. What has this challenge allowed you to do? And tell me if I have your permission to use it. Because I got to tell you, I've had a hoot of a time. This wasn't my idea to do this challenge. This was Aidan Crawford's. And I've really enjoyed doing it. And one of the things that I've come to realize in doing this challenge is that this is a really valuable tool for people to give people this help that they need in spoon-size bits. And I would like to continue to spread the word and get this to more people. Feel free to tell people that you know about the 30-day challenge. They can sign up, and the way, as you know, the way we have it set up, they can start anytime, and it starts them with day one, and each, the next one unlocks in 24 hours. And we intentionally did it that way so you don't try to do too much too quick to slow you down, which is the whole intent of a 30-day challenge. But I'd love to have, an email from you with, what's really worked, and can I have your permission to use that in some kind of a marketing piece? Well, there you go. Thanks so much. I hope we've created value, and the rest is up to you.